Some of the earliest memories that I may share with you on this planet may include small drawings in the margins of notebooks, hushed melodies, lines in the sand, drawings with crayons, or chalk murals on the concrete, wearing that wash away, gone the next morning. But somewhere along the way, many of us lose that spark of creativity. Art became a luxury, an afterthought, or even worse, a waste of time. But why do we no longer find importance and recognize art the same way? What changed? And why is this important to us and to everyone on this planet? Well, art does consume and surround us in our daily lives. Buildings, paintings, murals, movies, and our phones. These creations not only inspire us, but also motivate us in our daily life. From finding a word for a crossword puzzle to finishing a final project, art enhances our lives in countless subtle ways. Along with that, there are many effects of art. Neuroscientists have conducted countless studies exploring how art enhances brain function, impacts brainwaves, emotions, and the nervous system. Along with that, art is shown to increase serotonin levels. Simply being around art makes us feel happier. And a study by Dexter University has shown that simply creating art for 45 minutes can significantly reduce cortisol levels, a major marker of stress. One of the biggest examples of this is through music. I'm sure most of the people in this room listen to music. Well, music is another powerful form of art, expressing something that is unique only to that medium. It is a form of emotional expression. It's something we can tune into, and it's something that can make us feel understood as a person. And in fact, most doctors recommend that parents expose their children to music from a young age, like lullabies perhaps. This aids motor skills, brain development, imagination, and even self-confidence. Like as a kid, I vividly remember long drives with my mother and sister. Back then, I would take over the back seat and strain to comprehend lyrics that were at the time incomprehensible to me, unknowingly gaining valuable comprehension and listening skills. But for those which don't have a favorite genre of music, there's always books. And yes, some of us sometimes do forget that books are also a form of art. Now, I want all of you to think for a second. What does art mean to you? Now take that thought and challenge it, as art can be anything, including daily objects, like a pen, for example. A professional once created this, putting thoughts into making it functional and visually appealing. They put concepts and ideas into this everyday object, making art. And if you really think about it that way, art really is everywhere and impacts and changes our lives in countless subtle ways. Now these changes, be they small, are vital to us as human beings. We are an expressive race, full of passion and emotion. And thinking back to the oldest known cave paintings in Indonesia from 40,000 years ago, and the art we create today, we know that it allows us to reflect and to keep something special for ourselves, along with allowing us to learn about our history as a society. So in a world that values efficiency and practicality more and more, we need more artists. People who could convey intentions, emotions, and ideas in ways that touch us more deeply and thoughtfully than any other medium could do. Think of architectural marvels like the Burj Khalifa or the Taj Mahal. Somebody once imagined these, then sketched them onto a piece of paper, and then built them up before our very eyes, bringing something unique into the world. Art has allowed these voices to be heard in a way that words could never express, allowing us to empathize with experiences outside of our own. And apart from being purely creative, art is political, reflecting and often shaping political ideologies. Artists have long critiqued governments, advocated for change, demonstrated by works like Picasso's Guernica, which condemned the horrors of war. Now, on the contrary, regimes have often utilized art to advocate for their agendas, with Hitler and Nazi propaganda, or the Soviet Union with socialist realism. Art has highlighted injustice, criticized power, and that makes it a very powerful tool in both aiding and resisting political power. Now, along with art being political, it is also economical. Art is a major economic force, with the creative industries, including art, design, and media, being valued at $2.25 trillion in 2019. That is 3% of the global GDP. Part of that contributing to things like cultural tourism, with countries like Italy earning $5.9 billion in 2023, or cities like New York or Paris, which contribute millions annually, building a major income for their countries. So, despite all that value, why do we often undervalue art, and by extension artists, so much? Well, it lies in the common misconception that art isn't practical. Artists are cast as dreamers, pursuing passions that seemingly don't contribute to society. Parents might tell their children that you can't make a living as an artist, urge them towards safer jobs like medicine or engineering, which are still noble pursuits. But for many, that redirection draws the line between a hobby and a profession. Secondly, there's a common misconception that artists either make it big immediately or remain struggling as a starving artist. The truth is far more nuanced than that. Many artists hone their craft for years and years, building the path for many industries, which we often forget. And finally, there's a deeper issue of elitism. Many of us view art as inaccessible or reserved for the wealthy and rich. Well, that paints an image that art is a luxury rather than a necessity, building a gap between an audience and an artist. So how do we challenge these misconceptions? Firstly, we can implement art into more school curriculums, adding more classes like art and design, drama, and music, building in appreciations for the arts from a young age. Secondly, we can remember that art and business are not mutually exclusive. Art is the driving force from any industries, like advertisement and gaming. And finally, we can remember that not all art hangs in a gallery. Fashion design, music, digital art, or even the memes you scroll past at 3 a.m. in the morning. These are all impactful forms of art. And if we diversify how we think of art, we can stop forgetting about so many artists which are just as talented as anybody else in this room. Now, I want everybody in this room to reinvent how they view art and by extension artists. I want them to be more attentive to art in your everyday life. To remember that art is not a luxury. It is a necessity. It is the soul of our culture. It is the ethics in our history books. And it's the foundation to many industries. Along with that, I want you to remember that behind every piece of art is an artist deserving of your respect. And if you're an artist in this room, don't let the prejudice dim your light. The world needs your creativity, as art can bring something meaningful into the world. So let's celebrate it, protect it, and ensure that it's here for generations yet to come. Thank you.